Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Now, it's kind of like an emergency TAFA stuff for Black Friday. The weird thing about this Black Friday is I remember last Black Friday, pretty much nothing happened last year. And I also remember when the Delta variant was actually introduced, pretty much nothing happened as well. And now we have Delta variant plus Black Friday, and of course, we get this big drop, so the market makes no sense. But wait, we also have a bunch of futures expiring today, right? And if you actually look at the if you look at the chart, the real giant drop started at 1:24 a.m. and basically ended at around 6:04, like 6:04. But the real biggest drop came at 1:24 to around basically 3 o'clock, and kept on dipping until about 6. That is basically right before when the futures expire. So the big dip was pretty much in the hours right before the futures expired. So there's a good chance it was just it was a lot of whale manipulation just to meet a couple of futures price targets. Usually the futures actually drop pretty massively in the week before the futures expire, if they do drop. But now it's in the hours. So yes, I do think part of it might have been the new variant. Part of it might have been Black Friday selling. But I think most of it is the whales manipulating those two events to stir up fear in the people. Now we've recovered about $1,000 since 53,600. So my guess is I would say right now I'm at a pretty strong buy point, because I have been saying most of the week that Bitcoin might dip to somewhere between 52 and 54,000 with a support at 53,000. But even without that, I mean, if you just look at the mathematical tops and bottoms, it should have bottomed somewhere between 52 and 54,000 on the local. Now, if you actually look at the TA of Bitcoin, obviously on the daily it's going to be sell because the momentum for today is really, really strong. But the average directional index is not very strong, so it does not really confirm any kind of trend. The commodity index also is saying it's oversold, and so does the stochastic. The RSI is leaning on oversold, but it's neutral. But both the stochastic and the commodity channel index are basically oversold. The average directional index is also not that high, so it doesn't really confirm a trend yet. The awesome oscillator, obviously, I think it did change from positive to negative today. I don't remember what it was yesterday, but I think it was 3,000 something yesterday. So it is actually saying sell. And all the moving averages are saying sell because of what happened yesterday. Because you can see the exponential moving average, even though it is slightly higher on the 10 days, it's lower on the 20 days, lower on the 30 days, and lower on the 50 days. So that's actually screaming kind of sell. So overall, if you look at the technical analysis from TradingView, it says sell, but I disagree. I think this is a sudden dip, and I do think I'm looking at a buy because we did kind of bounce off the bottom. And I think this is a sudden, the whales doing a sudden scare right before the futures basically expired. And now that the futures have actually expired, right after the futures expired, basically we stopped dipping. So I think we will actually bounce back. We might go down a little bit further to truly bottom out, but we should bounce back. On the weekly and monthly, as you can see, we're still at a buy. The oscillators on the weekly, honestly, not that bad, still neutral. And the moving averages on the weekly are still a buy. I mean, yes, the 10-week moving average says slight sell, but both the 20 and the 30 actually say buy. And on the monthly, we're still at a pretty strong buy as well. The oscillators are neutral. And the moving averages, yes, the 10 actually is lower, but the 20 and the 30 and the 50 are both higher. So essentially, both the weekly and the monthly say buy. The daily says sell, but I think that's mainly because of the whales manipulating Black Friday. And I do think we will actually recover in the days to come. So if you've been waiting for a dip, this might be the one to buy. However, I do have to caution people on this because there could actually be a dip to maybe 35,000 if we are following the pattern where it actually peaked in April and then dipped into July. So we could possibly if we follow that pattern, we could actually go from our last top, which is 68,000, to about 32 to 35,000, and then go back up maybe around March to essentially around 75,000 if that pattern actually holds. But I actually think like at least in the short term we will actually recover. So watch out for that long-term pattern if we follow the same like 50% dip as we did after the March April top, but that could happen, but I don't think it really looks like it right now. So I do think we'll recover. I do think it was whale manipulation before the futures. And but you guys have to remember that what happened back in 2018 or late 2017 after the futures were introduced, Bitcoin really started to tank. But we've had futures and leverage and options for a while now, so shouldn't really come as that much of a shock. I think the worst that will happen is another like 3-4 months, 5 months lull, like we did earlier this year. Eventually, it will recover, but I honestly wouldn't play on that because I do think this is just kind of whale manipulation before the futures, just like the data on the one-day Bitcoin chart actually says. They basically stopped dropping right before the futures expired. So that's what I have to say for today. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.